Hi guys, well, the big question today is why? Why are we here? No, why are Microsoft and Sony updating their consoles mid-generation, mid-cycle? Why are they bothering to put out the Xbox One Scorpio and the PlayStation 4 Pro? Why are they doing this? Well, there's lots of people out there who've got various different theories about why that might be. The most prevalent one of them seems to be that Microsoft and Sony want to screw us for every last penny they can get out of us. And there's something to be said for that theory. These big companies basically want to get as much money from us as they possibly can. That's pretty much why they exist. They wouldn't be doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're not doing it for the gamer, the consumer, the customer, whatever you want to call us. So maybe they are. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe their whole purpose in this is to screw us for as much money as they can possibly get out of us. And I know a few people have suggested that. However, I've got a slightly different take on it, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit today. And my take on it is, well, I think they've kind of had to do this. And I'll explain why I think that is. The reason I think they've had to do this is I think they're under pressure. They're under pressure from each other, obviously, because they've got competition with each other, and Microsoft definitely need to pull their socks up and do something to try and catch Sony. I'm not sure that they will this generation, but they have to keep trying. And to be fair to them, they've made a pretty decent job of it so far. They've released the Xbox One S, and that's a pretty decent refresh. And, Sony have now gone and, well, they are in the process of releasing the PlayStation 4 Slim. And while I don't think there's much to the PlayStation 4 Slim in terms of an update, I think the Xbox One S is probably the better option. But despite what I've said about it in my previous videos, I think the PS4 Pro is definitely the console you'll be looking at if you're going to be buying a console this Christmas. But it does bring us back again to that question. Why? Why are they doing it? And obviously I've just covered the fact that they're competing with one another. But I think there's other things at play here as well. I think one of the big issues is that Microsoft and Sony have seen the writing on the wall for consoles. And some people have suggested that this is the end of the console, that we are seeing the death rattle, if you like, of the console market. Well, that could be the case. This generation's doing particularly well, actually, and you can't argue with those figures. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this isn't the last gasp of the console market. I don't think that's the case, though, and I think that the reasons Microsoft and Sony are updating their consoles mid-generation is something to do with them addressing that issue. I think that the issue has been on the horizon for some time now, and one of the biggest aspects of it is the phone and the tablet market. And if you look at what happens with phones and tablets, they refresh regularly. So if you take the traditional console generation, which runs 5, 7, 8 years, depending on the generation, but usually between 5 and 10 years. If you look at that now and you compare it to how fast phones and tablets update, then you can see that in a period of 5 years, the consoles are going to be left behind in terms of power. You could conceivably have a situation where people are playing games on their phones that are way more powerful and way more capable than you can get off a console. And that's not acceptable in the console market. I mean, who in their right mind out there is going to be wanting to play a console game when they can play the same game on a tablet or a phone? Okay, I know phones have got small screens. But, they could play those games on those platforms and have a better experience. And I know tablets and phones don't have particularly good control interfaces for gaming, but, it's not going to be long before somebody comes up with a method of sorting that out. We've already got the ability to use Bluetooth controllers with phones and tablets, and we've got the Nvidia Shield console as well, which is kind of a proof of concept of a console that could possibly be refreshed on a regular basis. So Microsoft and Sony aren't stupid, and I think they've seen this happening, and I think they've seen coming over the horizon a potential threat to their business. And so I think what they've done is they've taken a look at that potential threat and they've decided to do something about it. Now, we as gamers may not like that, and we may be wringing our hands and saying, oh, I'd like to see the old traditional way of doing things. But frankly, I think if we do that, we're going to be missing the point. I really do believe that Microsoft and Sony are doing what they think is the right thing here in order to keep their business alive. Similarly, if you look at what's happening with the PC and the fact that we're now getting Xbox games cross-play with the PC, and Sony seem to be looking into that as well, and they've certainly gone into, PlayStation Now is available on PC now. Not that I'm particularly keen on PlayStation Now, but that's for another day. I'll talk about that another time. But I think with that move into the PC market as well and cross-play, and Sony also looking at moving into the mobile market, I think they're hedging their bets somewhat and trying to keep their business alive. And as I say, far from this being the end of consoles, I think this may be the start of something new, the start of consoles, moving into an area that perhaps some of us weren't keen on. Personally, I'd hate to see consoles lose their main functionality and their core usability. After all, the plug-and-play aspect of consoles has always been one of their main attractions. I don't want to see too many tweaks and options within consoles. I mean, we've already got some, and there's more now than there used to be, and we are kind of drifting that way. But PCs are infinitely configurable, and I like that about PCs. But, I'll play on my PC, and I'll enjoy playing on my PC, and I used to enjoy tinkering. But I often used to spend more time tinkering with it than I did playing actual games, and that's where consoles come in. If I sit down in front of a console, 9 times out of 10, unless I'm producing a video for you lot, I'll be playing a game. Whereas I get distracted when I'm on PC and lots of other things happen. So anyway, that's kind of my take on it. I think that Microsoft and Sony have needed to do this. I think it's been on the cards for a while now, and you could almost sniff it coming, I think. Some of us were taken by surprise, but I think in retrospect, it was inevitable. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think. If you like this video and you think I'm right, give us a big old thumbs up. And if you dislike it, then give us a thumbs down. I don't mind. You're entitled to your opinion. But if you do, either way, whether you give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, come into the comments and tell us why and tell us what you think. And if you think I'm talking a load of old rubbish, as usual, come and tell me so. But if you agree with me, again, come and explain why you think that I'm right and we can have a conversation. That's what this is all about, after all. And I will speak to you again soon. Bye.